appreciate that you stay with me here. Now, journalism can be rewarded, but then it can also be very dangerous. And over the years, many journalists have had to face untold hardships, including making the ultimate sacrifice, death in the course of duty. The Media Foundation for West Africa is seeking to reward journalists in the sub-region. So the West Africa Media Excellence Conference and Awards is slated for the 28th of October this year. An executive director of the foundation, Suleiman Ibrahima, has joined me in the studio to brief us a bit more about this. What is this all about? You're welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. As you rightly said, journalism is a field that I would say is in crisis at the moment, from different actors, from different challenges, and from the whole phenomenon of attacks, and sometimes journalists having to pay the price with their life.
Is it only in Ghana or in West Africa?
Not at all. I mean, I think that in the context of the region, Ghana is even a very, very safer place for journalists, even though occasionally we do have some issues. Just last week, we have this development where a chief meted out some punishment to a journalist, which was quite degrading, which is something that we are still looking at how we can solve. So we have journalists across the region who come under severe forms of attacks, sometimes beaten, harassed, equipment seized, arbitrarily arrested and detained, and so on and so forth. Of course, in the region, from country to country, you would have journalist associations and unions trying to do, journalism awards like we have here in Ghana, the GJA awards. But we thought that as a regional organization working across the 16 countries in West Africa, it is time for us to perhaps try and up the scales and make the competition quite keener. And so we decided that from this year, and this is our 20th anniversary, so marking the 20th anniversary also, we decided that it's time to begin to try and identify and reward journalists whose works are impacting lives, impacting society, and at the same time use it as a platform to inspire excellence in journalism. Because talking about the difficulties that journalists go through, it is also true that journalism as a profession is suffering from the deficits of quality and so on and so forth.
So how is this award scheme and conference going to make it any better? Well,
of course, I believe that in every profession, if there is a mechanism that identifies people who are doing the best under difficult circumstances and rewarding and honoring them, sometimes people even look at issues of cash prizes as not what is at stake, but the whole thing about the recognition that what I've done for society is being recognized and is being praised. I believe that others will look at that and say, oh wow, I would take the same steps towards doing something that will be rewarded, doing something that is inspiring. And even if it is not rewarded or awarded, I believe that impacting society through journalism is something that is worthwhile. And we believe that people would, on the basis of that, be inspired to do better journelism.
Very well. Tomorrow we expect that you announce the winners. That won't be the winners. That will be the finalists. Yes. But someone once said that when in Africa, in Ghana, in West Africa, when you are announced, your name is announced as a nominee, you win. Is that going to be the case?
Well, from what I have seen from the team that is working on this, I don't think so, because for every category that the judges got somebody as a winner, they happen to also find two or other
sort of
one or two other stories that they would say, this is difficult to escape, but we think that, well, ultimately maybe this or that. So for every category, it wouldn't just be one person being announced as the finalist. And before that, we also thought that it's important that we put out the people who decided who the finalists and who the ultimate winners are. So I'm sure by now it's been put up. If you visit our website, you would see the judges that we brought together and their profile, because we think ultimately the reputation of the awards is as best as the people who determined who the winners are.
Certainly, I can agree to that. I can agree to that. Well, we in the course of the week, I mean, this is happening next week, next 2 weeks, right?
Next week on the 27th and 28th.
27th and the 28th. So tell us briefly what's going to happen on the 27th and how that's different from what's going to happen on the 28th, because along the line, I mean, during the week, we're going to have a lot more of the Media Foundation for West Africa right here in our studios, explaining more and more so that we can bring to your attention once again the importance of having journalists, just in case you imagine a world without one.
Yes. Well, so the two-day event starts on the 27th, and then we would finish off on 28th.
Okay.
Now, on the 27th, we are having the conference, the West Africa Media Excellence Conference, and basically, we are bringing together the media community in West Africa. So we would have people coming from all the countries in West Africa, from Francophone, from Lusophone, from Anglophone, and essentially to look at the situation of journalism in West Africa. What have been the challenges in the past? What are the current challenges? Going forward, what do we foresee as the challenges? And as a community of media actors, how do we plan to be able to deal with the challenges that we foresee in the past, confront the current challenges, and then plan together to see what are the mechanisms that we have to put in place to improve journalism and to also improve the safety of the practitioners.
Right.
So a major part of this session would focus on combating the issue of impunity for crimes against journalists.
Okay.
Because across the region, you would have journalists who have been wrongfully arrested or detained. You would have journalists who have been killed, like those in the Gambia. And some of them, we have had cases delivered, I mean, rulings delivered for countries or governments to compensate family members of journalists who have lost their lives, and you end up not having compliance. Okay. And so on the 27th, we would have media experts discussing the issues of journalism across West Africa, and how we can improve the standards of journalism, the quality of journalism, the safety for media, fighting impunity for crimes against media, and so on and so forth. And then on the 28th in the morning, we will be meeting with our national partners. You know, as a regional organization, we work with national partner organizations in the other 15 countries.
Okay.
So we would be meeting together with them, digging deeper into the national context of the media environment, and then planning together from 2018, 2019, how we can work to improve media standards and so on and so forth. And then on the 9th of the 28th, we would then have the awards event. The
awards event, which is something I'm looking forward to. Who knows? I haven't applied for anything, but who knows? I might win an award. Okay, Sulemana, thank you so much for coming through the studio. Like I said, during the course of the week and the next, we'll be bombarding you with a lot of information about Media Foundation for West Africa. So please bear with us, okay, if we do that. But thank you very much for coming.
So much. Thank you so much.
Sulemana Brahima is Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. So basically, let me wrap up by saying that a world without journalists will be one in which powerful people easily take the law into their hands and eternally abuse the vulnerable. So the Media Foundation for West Africa is presenting the West Africa Media Excellence Conference and Awards, and it's all about inspiring media excellence across West Africa. The events, like he said, comes off at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel on the 28th of October this year at 6:30 p.m. So get ready to celebrate excellent journalism in West Africa. The West Africa Media Excellence Conference and Awards event is supported by Tallow Oil, MTN, U.S. Embassy, Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Stanbic Bank, and Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. The media partners, of course, JoyNews, Class FM, Daily Guide, newspaper, the Finder newspaper, and several West African media outlets.